And speaking of caring about this result, I mean, a 4-0, of course, is a bad look wherever you see it, be it a friendly or not, taking lessons from it or not. Shaq, I mean, it looks like they have to. But when it comes to this loss, who's more to blame, Poch or the players?
I think you've got to share the blame here. Kind of given the changes that have been forced on Pochettino in fielding a relatively inexperienced, if you want to call it, a B-string side up against a decent Switzerland team. You look at that, but at the same time, I'm looking at Pochettino to make a difference, to do things to either stop the bleeding far earlier on than he did, but wasn't able to at 4-0 after 36 minutes. I mean, that tells its own story. That says that there are no in-game changes, certainly in that first 36 minutes, that Pochettino made to address anything that he'd been seeing. I also have to say, though, just watching that press conference was a little painful. When you hear someone say, well, we drew the second half, you know you're 4-0 down halftime, and your comment is, well, the second half was a draw. You know, you just scraping around now, trying to find some kind of something to hold on to, because that's a drowning man if I've ever seen one.
Okay, you literally read my mind, because the next quote, and Herc and Mao will understand, is dando patadas de ahogado. So you're drowning already, but you're still kicking, right? Trying to save yourself, but the man's already
Yep.
already drowning.
Yep.
I mean, looking for a lifeline here, Herc. Is there a lifeline to throw here at Pochettino?
No, this one's squarely on him. Listen, I defended him against Turkey. I can't defend him here. He shoots himself in the foot. He said they made 9 changes? Okay. So you make the 9 changes, and you're going to give a few debuts. How do you protect the young players so they don't get embarrassed? If you know that players are out of their depth, because that's what it was, how do you protect these players? He didn't protect these players. He put young debutants with even younger, inexperienced players. That's not what you do. It's good to give these players experience, but you got to do it in a way where they don't get embarrassed, where their confidence isn't shot, where they don't get exposed. And I said it last week, I'm starting to really worry that he doesn't know his team. I'm starting to really worry that he doesn't know the players that he has. If you look at this lineup, there was one realistic starter, and I'm starting to second guess that starter. It's Matt Turner.
Yeah.
Okay? Nowhere else did you have another starter, another penciled-in starter on the U.S. men's national team. And if you look at what he had at his disposal, what he put out, I should say, inexperience after inexperienced player, and then these players against a very good Switzerland team with some very, very good players, just exposed you. Exposed how young, how naive, how incapacitated you are at this level. Max Arfsten, against Turkey, he was inoperative in the final third, made terrible decisions. Against Switzerland, we saw him in the defensive third, and we see that he's not a defender. That when he plays in Columbus, he plays like a winger in a system where he's pretty much in the final third all the time. He gets exposed. Nathan Harry on the other side. Matt Turner's got 2 players. A Walker Zimmerman, who's not played much at all this year for Nashville because of a concussion. You got Mark McKenzie, who sometimes he's good for you, sometimes he's not. You go through the spine. Johnny Cardozo plays because Tyler Adams can't go, and he's not been great for the U.S. men's national team. And then who else you got? You gave Sebastian Berhalter a start there, and that's great, but you got to protect Sebastian Berhalter. You don't. Paxton Aronson, Brendan Aronson, Brian White. Like, what are we doing here? You're just throwing players to put them on the field and to see if somebody reacts. So this one is squarely on Mauricio Pochettino. I'm not going to blame these guys for not being good enough with the likes of Switzerland on their debuts, on their 3rd and 4th cap. I'm not going to kill the player that way. Mauricio Pochettino should know better, and he didn't.
Yeah,
this is kind of your fault as well, Herc. This is kind of your fault as well. Because you sold the world on the idea that the U.S. men's national team had B, C, and D teams.
No, they feel
that's
B,
no,
C,
no,
and
no,
D
no,
teams.
no. You said on the show, hey, no. This is the B team. This is when Mexico won the Gold Cup. You said, yeah, but this is the C team. That's not the case. Mauricio Pochettino heard you on Futbol Americas and probably said, yeah, we do have probably a pool of 50 to 60 players that can compete for a spot in the national team. So this is on you. It's not on Pochettino.
Yeah.
It's not on the players.
Yeah.
It's on pundits like you. On a serious note, this is all on Pochettino. And to me, it's very, very, very simple. There's a time and a place to give young players the stage to prove themselves with the national
you gotta
team.
protect them,
This
right?
was not the case. The Gold Cup, this Gold Cup, it's the time and the place to give those players that kind
You're
of
trying
chance.
to say Trinidad?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. and other CONCACAF teams. But my point is, if you're a manager and you make this decision, I'm going to play against a team that a year ago was a contender for the European Championship, at least you got to give him some weapons. And if you don't, then you have to be good enough to let them understand what it means to represent your national team. Because I did not see the fight. I saw a team that was scared. I saw a team that was loose on the ground and didn't really have a clue. And I'll finish with this. The most concerning part to me was not what Pochettino said in that press conference. His actions, his reactions, and his behavior in the touchline with his coaching staff. That showed me a manager and coaching staff that do not know their team. A year out of the World Cup, that just cannot happen. I don't know who was more confused in that game, the players or the coaches.
Yeah, that's definitely concerning. Speaking of being a year out of the World Cup, this is a yes or no answer I want from each of you. Mau, I'm gonna start with you. Yes or no, Mauricio Pochettino gets sacked before the World Cup?
No.
Irk?
No.
I have to think about that one. Shaq?
No, I do have to think about it at all. I think Pochettino gets sacked. It raises the level of inefficiency, of ineptitude of U.S. Soccer Federation like nothing we've seen before. They more than anybody can't afford that.
Yeah. And they literally can't afford it with
Well,
what they're paying the man to.
in every single way. Yeah.